Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of What's up, Roxstars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 15, I believe it is. So let's get to it, shall we? I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It's like you can hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book for Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? You guys, so the show opens with us being reminded of the Girls Gone Wild night that the girls had the night before. You guys remember last time that we saw the girls, they were getting back from the dinner that they had gone to when they met the prime minister and everything. Remember when they got back, Shamia was upset about what happened with her daughter. So, you know, they needed to unwind, and the Real Housewives of Atlanta are always good at unwinding. You better believe they know how to let off some steam. So everybody put their bathing suits on and they got out there in the water and they partied until it looks like till damn near sun came up. Okay, they was out there, they was in the water, they was splashing. At least that's the way it looked. They probably was only out there for about an hour or whatever. But Phaedra was just like, honey, she feel like she got Cynthia pregnant. They was hunching on each other and they was on top of each other and they was in the water and they was... Child, you know how they can be. And today is about rebirth. Okay, this is their last full day, I guess, in Grenada, and they're going to make the most of it. So the next morning, Drew and Angela get together, and, you know, they're just talking about how much fun they had that night before, how it was much what the doctor ordered. You know, just the fact that they were all getting together, all on the same page, all laughing, all drinking, all dancing, all in the, you know. But Angela was like, girl, I did notice a little bit when, you know, when Britt was talking to Shamia, how your face was. And, you know, Drew was just like, oh my God, I can never really hide how she feels in her face. She was just so dumbfounded by, you know, Britt's whole declaration of love and support to Shamia, considering that they was already kind of like at odds just a few hours earlier. Drew says she's not really aware that she makes these faces, but you know, she did feel like Britt put 20 on 10. Britt was doing a whole lot. It was a very strange scene. I explained to you guys why I think that's the way I think that Britt fights with, well, you guys told me that she has a really difficult relationship with her sisters. I mean, she's told us that as well. It's too bad that they didn't get to explore that on the show this season, because Britt probably had more of a storyline, but it just got side-reeled by all of Britt's. You know, Britt actually sidelined her own, she sidelined her own storyline, actually. But anyway, they are discussing how it was a little strange how Kelly came at Britt. You know, maybe something ain't really good with their friendship. And you know, these ladies, honey, they like a fucking shark in water. If they smell blood floating around, even if it could be a little prick, if they smell blood, they come swarming. So now let's put the lens on Britt and Kelly's relationship. We see Shamia calls her mother, and she's talked to her mom about the night before, and the mom was just like, yeah, it was really a mess. Okay, we cannot have that lady no more. She had that baby in that freezing cold room. It took her like hours to warm the baby up. I mean, she had to hold the baby to her in order to warm her up. Okay, that's how cold she was. And you know, Shamia is still feeling bad about it, but they did tell her that the baby is good today. And so, you know, that makes her feel better. Everybody's all like, she's out there enjoying herself in Grenada. I'm just like, oh, poor Shamia, child. I know she ain't gonna never be able to make all the best choices. Well, the choices that makes everybody happy when it comes to the baby. Anyway, no more of these mistakes. Get a new babysitter. Now we see Cynthia and Portia. They also laughing about the night before, okay, and just talking about how much fun that they've been having, you know. And even though we've only seen them fighting, it feels like, but there has been like a air of laughter and fun, you know, even with the shade. There are these little small fights that are like brewing around. Well, it looks like Portia and Drew has decided to call it quits on that. But now Britt and Kelly, well, we didn't see this one coming. Now Cynthia and Portia, and actually Phaedra joins them. And you guys just explain to me what exactly is it that Phaedra is trying to do. I feel like Phaedra is trying to have like all of these memes like how Nene does. You guys know how we just you can see in a meme, you can actually just see a still of a picture of Nene, and you kind of almost know what that meme was, what she was saying in that meme. I think that Phaedra wants to have like all of these memes of her floating around now, because she is like just a walking one-liner. Everything she throws out is just a one-liner, and I was just like, okay, enough. Is that how she talks in her regular life? Like everything is a bump. She needs her own fucking drum crew to follow her around. You know, every time she says something with them old wrinkled up big lips, you know, she be talking always like then. Bump. So, you know, after Phaedra's up there joking with him and all, you know, she goes to sleep on true crime. Okay, and she wakes up refreshed. Anyways, they're sitting there, the three of them laughing, chatting about everything, you know, and Phaedra's just like, you know, Angela gives her math school teacher. Okay, or maybe Barbara Walters is like, damn, how many questions is Angela gonna ask? I did notice that Angela has spoken out now. Angela's not afraid to ask questions anymore. You know, she notices things. She brings it to the girls, you know. She can stir up a little trouble. I've been watching that about Angela, okay? But, hey, she's playing the game. I can appreciate it. And she's going on and on about Atlanta being Scamlanta. And I was just like, and how do you know this, Phaedra? Do you run with the sort? She was just like, even Atlanta had to go cashless. And I was like, yeah, well, that is kind of true. Panda Express, I know they don't take cash no more. Anyways, you know, they're just laughing about Britt and kind of trying to figure out what was going on with Britt and Shamia. Phaedra was just like, but I got a little bit of tea. And they were like, ooh, okay, what do you got? You know, Cynthia was like, let me scoot in closer. Well, you know, Phaedra's in the room with Britt, and she said that Britt told her that Kelly doesn't want Britt to use her makeup team anymore. So then they flash back and they show us how Kelly and Britt, I guess, didn't have a makeup team, so Kelly offered her makeup team to Britt, so they have been sharing the same team. I would imagine that makes things difficult when they are both on the same show, and they both have to get ready, and they have times that they have to be ready and everything. You know, they can't be working on two people at the same time. So probably Kelly was starting to realize that it was an issue. Either she was getting rushed through her makeup session, or maybe her makeup sessions were being late, or she, you know. But of course, it's not explained this way. It's just that Kelly is now saying that she don't want Britt to use her makeup team, okay? And Portia was just like, oh, you know what, hold on, something ain't right, because these are the two girls that came to my birthday party dressed in the same pink outfit looking like Ren and Stimpy. They don't even speak without each other. You know, they usually co-sign each other and everything, so it is a little strange that Kelly did not say nothing when Shamia was talking. And she even held her accountable during the, you know, when they were talking about the donation. I was like, is that being held accountable, or is that, you know, you blasting your friend in front of everybody else? So as they're discussing it, you know, they're like, maybe there's a little jealousy between the two of them. I really honestly believe that it probably was just the fact that they were sharing the same team, which means that, you know, somebody is going to be having to wait all the time. I really wish people just knew how to communicate things. But it wouldn't be an exciting show if they did. And Phaedra was just like, we like fun. We don't like all this drama. I was just like, you guys love drama. Phaedra, you made it a point to make it back to this show for the drama. What you mean you don't like all this? Okay? And then you up here delivering the information too? Right up your alley. Now, somehow we get over to Cynthia's clit, you know, because Portia was just like, oh, yeah, Cynthia, like your clit. And Cynthia was like, oh, my God. Like, obviously, it's an inside joke. But I guess Cynthia has a hooded clit. Why we are discussing this on the show, I'm not quite sure. But, you know, so they're all laughing about it and everything. I was just like, Lord have mercy. Definitely not for the kids today. Now, speaking of Britt and Kelly, let's jump over to them. We see Kelly in her room, and Britt comes over to visit her, okay? And it's a little tension. I mean, you know, they're not mad with each other or anything, but you can tell that there's a little tension there, and I guess Kelly is just trying to figure out how Britt is going to approach her. So, you know, at first there's small talk. How's everything going with the, you know, the divorce? And Kelly is just like, okay, it's coming down to the wire. You know, she's going to be divorced when she finishes this next court date. Okay, so her and her lawyer have to talk and, you know, have to really make sure that they dotting their I's and crossing their T's and making sure that everything that they want done is done. Okay, she's overwhelmed, but they've got to discuss like the division of assets. They've got to discuss, you know, custody with the kids. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty sad week for her. Then Kelly asked her, like, how did you feel about last night? Because I guess she was feeling like, Britt, it's taking too long. Let's get this show on the road. Britt said she had mixed emotions about everything because she feels like maybe them two have a problem that she wasn't aware of. And Kelly is just sort of like, well, what do you mean? Well, the donation talk, you know, I was hurt about it. She tells us that she looks at Kelly as a sister. And so she felt like this passive aggressive tension, you know, from Kelly and Shamia. So she just flat out asked her, like, did you have a problem with my donation? And Kelly said, yes, it was about the donation. Let me explain to you, like, you cannot come around this group, you know, and you making sure that everybody knows that you got it like that. You had all these surgeries and everything, but then you come with this janky ass, you know, donation. Like, it does kind of look bad. You know, and I want my friend to show up better than that, you know, because I know that that's in you. And Britt was just like, and I feel you and I understand that. But what I'm saying is, like, you had to do that in front of the entire group. Like, and again, remember, Britt had told us that Kelly and Shamia had already talked to her about it. Yes, we understand why Britt is feeling the way that she did. It's like, bitch, you did all that again just to embarrass me in front of the group? This is not about donations. This is about something else. You know, Britt knows that it's probably also about this whole makeup thing, but they didn't even really talk about the makeup situation. Well, they did. They did talk about it. Britt did say that you used the team to get back at me, talking about her makeup, you know, team. And Kelly was like, no, she's not using the team to do that. So I just feel like people just need to just maybe we need to have more of a conversation. It's just getting lost. The communication is getting lost in this translation here. And now later on, we see the ladies, they all come downstairs. They're going to have a hangout at the pool. Okay. And so they're all down there, you know, Portia, Angela, we see Kelly and Shamia show up together. They dressed alike. You know, Angela sees it. She's like, ooh, boy, wait till Britt see that. She going to be real I love Angela. Child, Portia is the one that's cooking the meat. She's like, oh, let me get over here and work on this meat. You know, Drew came down there like, girl, are you cooking? I couldn't believe Portia was doing it too, but Portia said she was cooking. You know, they all having a good time down there. They sit down, they make a pact, you know, to not be fighting no more. Let's just all have a good time. Let's enjoy each other. Let's celebrate. And Shamia's like, yeah, and even if we do fight, you know, let's just get past it quickly. Then Drew was just like, where's Britt? And they was like, damn, where is Britt? We didn't even know. Where's Britt, Kelly? And Kelly didn't even get a chance to answer because then Randall shows up. Randall is the next man that the ladies are all going to lust after for, like, you know, I was so uncomfortable. I was just like, I mean, I know you guys are all, you know, trying to make this exciting for us watching and all, but damn. I mean, it felt like them ladies wanted to hump his bones like right then. It just makes them feel so desperate, you know? And then I started thinking like, gosh, everybody is going through divorce. Portia's going through a divorce. Drew is going through a divorce. Kelly is going through a divorce, you know? So all these women, granted, I guess, are looking for men. I mean, they shouldn't be looking for men at this point. You know, I don't really think that Kelly is, but the way that they show each other the way that they show up on this show, it just makes it seem like, damn. Can a nigga just come over here and smile at y'all without y'all ready to open your fucking legs and wrap him around his back? This time it's not a Portia that they trying to put on him, though. It's Phaedra. You know, Phaedra goes up to him and she give him a hug and everything real slow. And I was just like, oh, cringy, cringy, cringe. Portia, girl, he bow-legged and everything like Denzel Washington. Look how he walk. So he comes over and he's telling them about the jab jab. This is something that they are going to go to later on that evening. It is a cultural phenomenon out there in Grenada. They celebrate. It's just basically about their liberation. So they cover themselves up in black oil and they out there and they dancing all on each other. And it just looks like it's a good ass time. I'm telling you, this is the kind of fun that I like to have. It just really looked like something that I would have loved to go to with my girls. Only with your girls, though. This don't look like a trip trip that the men needed to be on. So they're celebrating, you know, getting rid of oppression out there in Grenada and everything. They're all gonna be there, you know, so they excited about that. Britt did show up while Randall was down there as well. So, you know, now the gang is all here. They're still talking after the man leaves, and, you know, she tells them that her ex-husband, he has not responded to like really anything, you know, and it's just been a mess. And, you know, he's on his 6th lawyer, and Drew was like, oh my God, Ralph is on his 3rd lawyer. And then Kelly was like, oh shit, I meant to show you something. So she pulls out her phone and she shows it to Drew, and Drew is like, oh my God, we have the exact same wedding anniversary, you know, and they're laughing about it. It's August 21st. I was just like, well, listen to that. There's another coincidence. That's my mother's birthday. What a small world, right? Anyway, Drew was like, what do you do on your anniversary? And she was just like, I just cry. You know, this is real recent. This is new for me. And Drew was just like, I know what you mean. You know, this is really sad. You know, we would have celebrated our 10th anniversary, and I was planning on us doing a vow renewal. I was just like, Drew, you are planning on a vow renewal as lie. Girl, you guys been fighting for the last 3 seasons. What you mean to tell me that you was planning a vow renewal? When? Ralph ain't even liked you long enough for you to be planning that kind of thing. I know you was not thinking about nothing like that, but you know, it sounded good. So she said that maybe that's what she always thought that she would do. Maybe that's what she meant. But no, her and Ralph was not about to do that. The man halfway like her. But you know, Drew just says that she wishes she navigated the marriage better, and Kelly kind of agrees. I mean, maybe a lot of people that get divorces wish that they could have navigated things better. It just didn't work out for them. Anyway, while they're down there, you know, Portia's just like, I'm the kind of friend that when you are going through something, I just want you to be happy and feel supported. So I got a surprise for Shamia, my girl. I want you guys, y'all just hang out down here. Shamia, come with me for a second, okay? So them two go grab hands and they go run off. While they go off to wherever they go, Kelly goes and talks to her attorney. She'll see everybody at the jab, all right? So when she leaves, you know, and there's a bartender there, he's explaining to everybody what the jab is, what's gonna happen there and all of that, okay? You guys make sure you use your bodies properly. And they were like, use the bodies properly. We will see later on what that man meant. But anyways, then Portia comes out, you know, okay, introducing, you know, Shamia. Shamia comes out and she has that big ass hat that had all the feathers, the boa feathers or whatever all over it. Shamia has it on, you know, and she looks good. Shamia was complaining about her body not being ready or whatever, and I was like, honey, that body is about as ready as it needs to be. All right, shit, she looked great in that hat and the, you know, the whole thing. And, you know, they took pictures and they big upped her and everything. And she said that this made her very happy. She said that was best friendism. Okay. She has her best friend back, at least for now. While they're down there admiring Shamia and her body and her hat, Kelly goes upstairs, and while she's getting her makeup done, I guess for the jab, she's also talking to her attorney on the phone. And he's just telling her, like, we just need to make sure that we have everything, you know, in order for the court date. She tells her attorney that her husband, she found out while she was there that her husband sold a gift that was given to her. He gave to her previously, but I guess he must have took it back and sold it. It was a lot. And so she's trying to figure out how she can get that back. And the attorney's like, well, do you have any kind of proof that he gave it to you? All right, because I guess maybe it's not in her name. And she said no, so or maybe she had to look or whatever. So I don't know, maybe she ain't gonna get that lot back. But, you know, that kind of stuff is being discussed. And she looks pretty sad. I feel sorry for Kelly. She said that she hides her feelings a lot for her kids, you know, the sake of her kids. And, I mean, I guess people can understand that as well. But hey, it's the jab night. Everybody is there getting dressed, okay, in their black bathing suit finest with their net and shit. This is right up the girls' alleys because, you know, everybody wants to show off their worked on bodies, okay? And them worked on bodies show was looking good. Everybody looked good, including Cynthia. I always admire when the ladies can hold their own and they're a little bit more seasoned than the others. So Cynthia looked good too. But yeah, they all look great. They all look great. I don't have nothing bad to say about none of them. They all climbed their ass into that bus. And, you know, while they're in the bus, they're talking, they're laughing, they're having a good time. I was just like, I am really enjoying this episode of just nothing but laughter and fun. They in the car, they talking about what they need from their man, you know, talking about putting their toes in their mouth, putting their whole foot in their mouth, you know, getting sucked on and all of this. I was just like, I'm here for it all. They get to the jab, And it is an experience like no other, you know, and they are out there and it's all black and it's the child, it looked like it's hedonism. It looked like it's some whole filth, flooring filth. Child, it looked like they was doing a lot. There was this one particular dancer that they said that everybody was dancing with the same man and he was all over them. But child, I guess he took a special interest in Portia and her babe and her big booty. And everybody knew it, you know. So it was just like, okay, Portia, that might be your man, honey. Portia might have had her ass a good ass time out there, okay? Let us not keep on thinking that Portia out there attacking all the Grenadian men. They have the shots going. I mean, just really a good time. I loved this episode for the girls. Now, the next morning, they're all packing up to go home, okay? They pack their shit up and then they go downstairs again they all meet in the little lunch area of where all their villas are, I guess. And, you know, they're just sitting out there talking. You know, they're talking about all that oil and shit, how they got it off. Phaedra was just like, honey, let me tell y'all something. That damn, Brit, when I tell you she must have scrubbed my ass down, like, you know how the midwives come in after you have your baby and they cook every crook and cranny, every nook and cranny. Child, they lift up all the folds and the piece. She said that's the kind of cleaning that Brit did. She said, honey, Brit has seen every single opening orifice of hers. I was just like, I mean, I guess. I ain't really trying to have my friends in there like that, but okay. But yeah, they had a good time. It was a vibe. You know, Chris, how did your call go with the lawyer? You know, and Kelly says, well, I mean, you know, it was what it was. It is what it is. She said that she's not even really ready to go back because she doesn't want to deal with her reality, but you know, she got to do what she got to do. She said she was crying about it. She was really upset. And then when she got up, she had the crystal in her lap and she said she got up and she looked and the thing was broken in half. She was just like, oh shit, like what's that about? So she Googled it and it symbolizes the end of a relationship. So, you know, maybe this is her sign, you know. So then, you know, everybody is just talking about what the trip did for him. You know, Portia said that she came there and her heart was heavy. But, you know, the waterfall helped and the jab helped and now I'm feeling like it's a sisterhood. You know, that they all are together and, you know, everybody is getting along. There's still a little bit of underlying shit with Britt and Shamia, but the purpose of the trip was met, okay? I think everybody feeling a little bit better about things, you know? And so as the show was ending and everybody was talking about what the trip did for him, honey, I was watching it on my DirecTV app and the shit just cut off. It was just like, that's the end. And so whatever else they were saying, child, y'all, you know, if you watch the show, you saw it. But I'm sure it was basically just the ladies talking about how great the trip was. I didn't even get to see the previews for next week. I don't know how much longer, but we only have a few episodes left. We got to be maybe 3 to 5 more episodes, you guys. So we are rounding the corner and about to wrap this up. Okay, tell me what you thought about the episode. All right, make sure that you thumbs up the video, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Roxanne. The channel is itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, Rockstars. Bye. Oh, I'm not waving at you. Hi. I think I'm waving at them, child.